Brr! Listen to that wind howling around the eaves tonight. The frost is already making patterns on the window pane, and the old radiator in the corner is clanking away, doing its best to keep us warm. It's a perfect night to stay inside. I've got the kettle on for tea, and this old chair has got a blanket waiting just for you. Come sit with me a minute, neighbor. Tonight, I want to talk about something that changed our lives forever. That big, glowing mahogany box that turned our furniture around and brought the whole world right into our living rooms. You know, if I close my eyes tight enough, I can still feel it. I'm 6 years old, sitting cross-legged on the rug, and I reach out to touch that curved glass screen. Zap! You remember that? That crackle of static electricity that would make the hair on your arm stand straight up? That was the feeling of magic. Now, you have to remember, before that box showed up, the living room was a different creature entirely. In the late 40s, when I was just a baby, the fireplace was the boss. Or maybe the big console radio. People actually looked at each other when they talked. Can you imagine? But then, around 1952 or 53, I would have been about 5 or 6 years old. The whispers started. You'd hear the grown-ups talking over the backyard fence. "Did you see the Johnsons got a television?" It was said with this mix of jealousy and wonder. I'll never forget the day it happened to us. It was a Saturday. Dad pulled up in the driveway, and he had my Uncle Bill with him. They wrestled this enormous box out of the trunk of the car, and folks, when I say enormous, I mean it looked like they were moving a piano. But the screen was tiny, maybe 10 or 12 inches across, rounded at the corners, set inside a cabinet of polished wood that smelled like furniture wax and success. They set it up in the corner, the place of honor. But that was just the beginning. Then came the ritual of the antenna. Lord help you if you were the kid chosen to help with the antenna. Dad was up on the roof, stomping around like a reindeer, and Mom was leaning out the window, and I was sitting in front of the set. Dad would yell down, "How's that?" Mom would relay the message, "Is it fuzzy, honey?" And I'd stare at the snowstorm on the screen. "It's just snow, Pop-Pop." "How about now?" "Wait, I see a head." "No, wait, it's gone. Go back left." It took an hour just to get a picture that didn't roll up and down like a window shade. You remember the vertical hold knob? That little knob was the most important thing in the house. If the picture started flipping, you had to sneak up on it and turn that knob wildly gently, just a hair, until the picture locked in place. We held our breath. Nobody move. If you walk across the carpet, you'll mess up the reception. But you know, that magic box was temperamental. It wasn't like today where things just work. Sometimes, right in the middle of a good show, the screen would just go black. A tragedy. I remember watching my dad spin the heavyset around and take the back panel off, always warning us, "Stay back, there's high voltage in here." Inside, it looked like a glowing city. All those glass vacuum tubes glowing with a faint orange light. He'd carefully pull out the tubes, wrapping them in a handkerchief because they were hot as firecrackers. Then came the adventure. We'd march down to the drugstore or the hardware store. Do you remember the tube tester machine? It was this big metal cabinet standing near the door. It had sockets for every size of tube. I loved that thing. I'd get to plug the tube in, press a button, and watch the needle swing. We'd pray for it to land in the green good zone. If it hit the red bad, well, that cost $1 to replace. And back then, $1 was real money. But walking home with that fresh cardboard box, knowing we were about to bring the picture back to life. We felt like engineers. And when it was working, oh my, it brought the whole neighborhood together. In those early days, we were the first on our block to have a set, so on Sunday nights, the neighbors would actually bring their own folding chairs over. Can you believe that? Mrs. Higgins from next door would bring a bowl of popcorn, and 6 or 7 people would crowd into our little living room just to watch the Ed Sullivan Show. We didn't look at our phones. We looked at the same 12-inch circle, laughing at the same jokes all together. For a kid my age, though, it was all about the afternoons. Howdy doody? It's howdy doody time, Buffalo Bob would shout, and every kid on the block would scream back at the screen. We were part of the peanut gallery right there in our own living rooms, and it changed how we ate, too. You remember when TV dinners first showed up? Swanson introduced them right around then, maybe 53. The aluminum tray. It had little compartments. The turkey, the cornbread stuffing, the peas that were always a little dry, and that little square of apple cobbler that was hotter than the surface of the sun. Mom would let us set up those rickety metal TV trays in the living room, eating dinner in the living room. It felt scandalous. It felt modern. We'd sit there peeling the foil back, burning our tongues on that apple cobbler, watching I Love Lucy or The Lone Ranger, and thinking we were living in the future. The house changed at night, too. When the news came on, Dad would shush us. "Cronkite is talking," he'd say. That glow from the black and white tube was the only light in the room, flickering on our faces. It made everything feel dramatic. The shadows danced on the walls. And the sign-off. TV didn't run 24 hours a day back then. No, sir. Late at night, they'd play the national anthem. A video of a flag waving in the wind with jets flying over, or the Statue of Liberty. And then, tss, the high-pitched tone, then static, just white noise. My dad would get up from his chair, stretch his back, walk over, and pull the little knob to off. And you'd watch that white dot in the center of the screen slowly fade away to nothing. "Show's over," he'd say. "Time for bed." It's funny to think about now with our 80-inch screens and phones in our pockets. But that little wooden box brought us together in a way I truly miss. We were all watching the same thing at the same time, sharing the same magic. So when you're nestled under your blankets tonight, drop on down to the comment section. I want to know, do you remember the first TV set your family got? And did you ever have to go to the drugstore to use the tube tester machine? I'll be sitting right here by the fire reading your stories, happy as a clam at high tide. All right, let's see if those memory gears are greased up tonight. I've got just 3 questions for you. At the very beginning, I talked about touching the screen. What was the sensation I described that happened to your hand or arm? What was the name of the machine in the drugstore where we tested the glass parts from the back of the TV? What did I say we used to eat our dinner off of? Those rickety metal things we set up in the living room? All right, you got 'em? If you said static electricity, the tube tester, and TV trays, then you're sharp as a tack tonight. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to sit on the porch with me again, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next story. Join me tomorrow. Until then, stay warm, keep your memories close, and may the Lord bless you.